Thought I'd just show you real quick, if your Atv four-wheeler carburetor is leaking gas, it can be this primer here where you push down on this lever. If there's gas coming up out of the little grommet here, which you see is cracked, but it really shouldn't have gas up that high anyway, because there's a diaphragm down in here that goes bad, and that's what'll cause that leak. So I'll pop this off and show you. It's pretty simple. You might be able to do it with it on the four-wheeler, but it's a lot easier just to get it completely off. There's a spring behind it, so make sure you hold down on the cover, and then it comes off like that. And then you want to make sure there's a little O-ring there. You want to make sure that stays in place, or make sure you put it on the carburetor side when you go to put it back. And then pay attention to the direction this diaphragm's in here. It has a little hat here that the spring sits in, and the other side has the bump on it for the rod to push on. So got a new one here. You can tell the difference. This one had a hole right there in it. You can't really, well, you can kind of see the split in it, but this side here should not have gas in it. That only gets that way if there's a hole in the diaphragm. The gas should be on the other side inside this cover. So I'm gonna clean that out. It's a little bit gummy. Okay, we got that cleaned up, and I'll blow this out a little bit too. Got that, and we'll put the diaphragm back in there. You might want to replace that O-ring if it's leaking out of the actual cover, but this one was only leaking out of that rod. All right, we'll get the rest of this cleaned up and throw it back on the four-wheeler, and we'll make sure we don't have any leaks there. So got to put back together here. I was going to show you, when you push down on this, you can see there's no fuel coming around this rod anymore. So if you're got a leak and you don't know where it is, just look up in here and then pump this primer a couple of times. Just make sure that you've had it running and there's fuel actually in the carburetor, because I ran this first just to make sure I had fuel pumped up. Then I pumped that a few times and it was squirting out of there before, and now it's sealed up. So just a quick tip to replace that diaphragm if you are getting fuel coming out of that rod, and that'll usually fix it up. If you have fuel coming out more out the actual bottom of the carburetor, like down by this screw where your overflow is, then that would actually be something in the float bowl that would be causing that. So that'd be a different issue, but this one, it's pretty common on these Atv to leak out of that rod there. So that's gonna do it for this one. If you like this sort of thing, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.